All right, welcome everybody to the latest Reversion webinar. We'll be diving into Orbitkey's data-driven approach to scaling their affiliate programs. We have a little bit of a audible here from Orbitkey. I actually have co-founder of Orbitkey, Rex Quo, joining me today, all the way from, I've got a globe over here, like almost the opposite side of the planet. Rex, welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Ryan. Yeah, we're based in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, and I say thank you for joining me today, but actually, you are on a different day than I am. It is the 17th for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. We'll let folks join in here a little bit, but again, I want to thank you for the time, Rex. Looking forward to really diving in a little bit deeper to how you guys have seen such great success at Orbitkey, talk through some of those strategies and tactics that you've seen a lot of success from. We have viewers joining from all over the globe. This session will be recorded as we go through. It'll also be on YouTube and LinkedIn. So if you want to share it with folks as we go through. Yeah, so let's go ahead and transition. We'll go ahead and get started. We're a couple minutes past 4 local time for me. I guess it's 8 o'clock, Rex, for
Yeah, just ticked
you.
over 8 o'clock. Kids about to go to school.
So for folks that are not familiar with Orbitkey, maybe it was 8 years ago, 10 years ago, created this awesome key ring, like the keys in the pocket that pin, like really innovative product. And since then have built a tremendous global brand, global distribution, really awesome collaborations, awesome products, based in Australia, but huge distribution. And having the co-founder here is really awesome, Rex, because it's cool to hear those stories and sort of like a little bit about the brand and what you've been doing and what you try to prioritize from that person themselves. I don't know if you're a fan of how I built that podcast, but it's sort of like this is an opportunity that we don't always get to get. So I will pose my first question. I'd love to share with our viewers and folks that are attending a bit more about what you do, your role day to day, and about Orbitkey and maybe how it came about, you and your co-founder.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction, Ryan. So I'm Rex and I'm co-founder of Orbitkey. We started Orbitkey quite a few years ago now. Like I think it's actually been 12 years. And when the business started, it really started from just trying to solve a personal need between my co-founder and I. Like, so Charles is a high school friend of mine. He's the industrial designer, and I used to be a pharmacist. But Charles was training for a half marathon all those years ago, and he used to hate the sound of jingling keys. And so he had this early prototype of just his keys kind of clamped together, and he showed it to me one day. And I remember I was always really conscious about putting my keys in the same pocket as my wallet because I didn't want to scratch the keys to scratch the leather wallet. And that's when we decided to add like a soft band to the prototypes to kind of protect your belongings and your pockets from your keys. And yeah, not. And then, we kind of tinkered and prototyped various designs for a good 9 months. And it reached a stage where we decided, hey, we need to release this. We didn't really know how, and we decided on Kickstarter. And yeah, to our surprise, like we had 4,961 backers by the end of that 30-day campaign, and we raised $200,000, and we quit our jobs and started Orbitkey. Yeah,
That's awesome. What was the first color? I mean, I don't remember. Like, were there lots of options, or was like it's black? It is what it is.
yeah, we had two materials to start with. First was the leather, which came in black and like a tan sort of brown. That was super popular. And the other material we had was like a active kind of elastic TPU sort of rubber material.
Okay.
But yeah, us not knowing that much about colors, like we obviously went with like a hot pink and like a bright green, and they were discontinued very quickly because no one was buying them.
Right. Well, that's a great segue, actually. So the whole goal here in this interview is you're pretty relentless in your data-driven approach to marketing. My background is as a data-driven marketer as well. And so using that data, hey, we built 1,000 of these bright pink ones, and we still have 1,000. We're not going to do this anymore. I think that ultimately can shape a lot of how you guys are making decisions and a lot of the success. And so we'll sort of transition into some of the questions that we put together, some of the things we've been talking about. Being very data driven can sometimes be a little bit of a trap for marketers because there's so many things happening, right? There's so many channels. They operate in different places in the funnel. User journeys are really complex. They're navigating across different devices. And so I'm curious to you, how do you measure or take this data-driven approach to affiliate marketing, to influencer partnerships, and you put it alongside all of these other activities, all of these other channels that exist?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you have to look at the data. Otherwise, you're kind of just doing everything. And we did try to do that at one stage, just try and send it to everyone and try and work with everyone. And take Kickstarter for example. For Kickstarter campaigns, and we still do Kickstarter campaigns. There's a lot of uh, kind of different services that offer, like, backer newsletters, communities that you can tap into. But that all comes with a cost, and without knowing, without tracking what the return is, you can quickly end up eating away at your profits. So um, having a tool like reversion is really important. So because, one, we can see exactly how much revenue each referrer is driving, but it's also a little bit incentive for these journalists and platforms as well, um, to kind of write about us. Yeah, and just on data, like, in addition to, I guess, affiliate marketing, like, we also track our just all our all our or our expenses. Like, we use a tool called Triple Well as well, that kind of combines uh, our affiliate marketing as well as our digital marketing and Meta and Google marketing. So that's been really helpful. And then we also track on a daily basis our profitability, and we across against all our marketing expenses as well. So that can really tell us whether or not we can scale a particular campaign.
Yeah, that you had mentioned that earlier, that the daily sort of feedback loop, a lot of times, I think for marketers, like, you can sometimes get stuck in this trap of not even looking often enough at just ins and outs and understanding, there's going to be those fixed costs that aren't really going to change, but there are going to be those variable costs that will directly impact, how did we do today and why, and getting some of that visibility across channels that, we saw variable cost increase, like, where did it come from? Why did it come from this area? Did we see any value, any sort of halo effect, or any sort of push from it? Or was it not, not worth the investment? Do we need to pull it back? So I think that's something when it comes to data driven, it's like the frequency at which you're looking at the data is really, really important. You can't just compile all of the data and stick it in some folder somewhere to look at once a month, because that's not being data driven, right? You're being a data hoarder a little bit, but it's not going to give you that feedback loop that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. I think yeah, there was a time when we just weren't looking, and I think it's really dangerous. Like, you would if you're not looking, then you kind of have all the expenses, and next time you look, it's like a month later, and you go, oh, we made a loss last month, and
Yeah.
that's not a that's not a nice feeling. So to be able to kind of look at it on a daily basis, or combine that with any trends, like 3-day trend, 7-day trend, it's really helpful to know.
Cool. Digging into your affiliate program a little bit, one of the things that was interesting to me, that not all products, like, candidly, like, does this make sense as a strategy where it's like, oh yeah, you could just go do this. But uh, Orbitkey, it seems like you prioritize these relationships with journalists and YouTubers and uh, uh, almost like writers and publishers, reviewers. Why do you feel like that's such a key cog, and is it such a key cog to your affiliate program and your sort of general business success? Because I think one of the things that you mentioned earlier is like all of these things sort of build on each other. It's not just one channel and one channel. So like, how do you think about these relationships with journalists, and how does it fuel the overall business in addition to, what is it doing on the affiliate front?
Yeah, I think the reason why we prioritize YouTube and journalists and press is because it was trackable for us. In the early days when we were gifting influencers and creators, like we just didn't see any impact on our website. Or whereas when we work with YouTubers and journalists, when they can actually have a link in their description or on the blog, it's very easy for us to see the impact that it does and whether or not it's scalable or not. So I think that's really why we prioritize. And I guess the other thing is just from our product as well. Like we tend to design products that are a little bit more, I would say, innovative and a little bit different from, take our key organizer, for example. It's very different from what's out there. It needs a little bit of explanation. So that's where YouTube is really nice, because that long form video content allows the creators to talk a little bit more about our product. And I think what's been good with affiliate marketing as well, with working with YouTubers, is that we might kind of maybe do a sponsored post one time, but the affiliate link is still live. So we find that they end up including our products in later on, like when they do roundup posts, and that's really great. And I do wonder, if we didn't have that affiliate link kind of live, would they have included us, or maybe they would opt for a competitor or something.
Yeah, YouTubers, I mean, my background working in influence marketing before too, is they tend to have a different approach to what they're trying to do with this channel, and like their sort of income strategy, versus maybe historically, I'd say, a lot of TikTok and Instagram content producers, where it's more about keeping people there and engaging with just their content. Whereas YouTubers, sometimes it's like, I want you to see this review and then go take action on this review. You don't have to keep on staying on my channel and watch the next 15-minute video on the next thing that I looked at. Like, I want you to go do something with this information, which it feels like it's like that really good alignment with, and that's what we need, is give people the aha moment of what they've seen and then push them to take some action. Plus these videos, when they're done really well, they have an evergreen value. Like, it's still the same sort of core product. And even if the video is 4 years old, it might just be served to people looking for this topic. It's still directly relevant, and people seem to be okay with the content. Like, it sort of ages well. Whereas I feel like on other channels, it just doesn't, it's not the same, right? Like, oh, I saw that Instagram reel 3 years ago. Like, that just doesn't happen like it does with YouTube, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, and that I think you're so right, Ryan. Like, now I think about it, like, a lot of the YouTube partners we work with, like, they just have such great content that really add value to their users, and it's not the users, so their viewers, and yeah, they're very happy to kind of share. Often they're sharing something that they believe in, and they're also very happy to kind of share links to these products.
Yeah. When you had mentioned the measurement being, really straightforward, there is still this, sort of nebulous halo effect of like, where did all my direct traffic come from as a website? And how do you think about that? And maybe this goes back a little bit to the metrics conversation, but is it, or, that use of triple whale, is it, we give some non-direct attribution credits of this thing too, because we know that happens. It may be at a discount, right? Like, we're not going all in on just pure branding, but how do you also think about that, whether it's an affiliate channel like a YouTube video, and thinking, well, we're going to get these direct click-throughs, but there's also something to, people watch this video, they might see another video that's not created by this producer that doesn't have the link. They might come back direct to the site having not clicked anything. How do you kind of manage that when it comes to, running the business, as it were?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Like a lot of the I'm sure a lot of the traffic gets lost, and or the reality is, like, when someone comes to your website, they might not have just come through via that one YouTube link that they clicked on. Like they had seen your brand or product through social media. Maybe they're already on your email list, and every platform is trying to claim credit for that purchase.
Yeah.
So yeah, you do have to kind of take an overall approach. Like, we try to have our marketing efficiency ratio that we look at on a daily basis to see if that matches up, and then within the platform, we'll track return on ad spend, whether it's Meta, Google, or affiliates, and if that hits if that is above kind of what we're comfortable or happy with, that because we know that there's going to be like other traffic or other sales that have come separately to that, then we will continue doing investing in these platforms.
So it's almost like that gives you some of that. It lets those sales be gravy versus, like, you don't depend on them, but if you feel that room, it's like, oh, awesome, this is cool, we can keep on doing this. We're getting some residual value.
Absolutely.
You had talked about Kickstarter at the start of this in terms of the founding, and sort of like, I think a lot of people and products, there was like this initial wave of Kickstarter, like a way to get things to market. And then as Kickstarter evolved over time with what they would allow, I think as brands evolved in their approach, you don't always hear about it, but you do hear about like the really, really successful products. I think the thing that sort of leads me to the question here is, Orbitkey continues to put things out on Kickstarter. You're an established global brand. You have great distribution, great, huge customer base, collaborations with, Disney and Marie Kondo. I don't know where you would rank those, probably depending on the person. But so I guess my question is, like, why is Kickstarter still a priority from a channel? Because it feels like it is still definitely a common or a conscious effort of, like, we are doing this here.
Yeah, it's a really good question, and like often people ask about kind of why we're still on Kickstarter, and there's many reasons to it, and I'll go through a few. Like, firstly, it's really expensive to make new products from scratch. There's minimum order quantities, which often can be really high if you wanted to have a lower cost for, and in turn have a lower retail cost. There's mold cost, there's a product development cost associated with it, and for a company that just we all our products are designed from scratch, often with custom hardware, it can be quite expensive. So Kickstarter is one. Firstly, like, it helps us with from a cash flow perspective a little bit. So we're able to often launch a campaign or a product and get it into the wild when we're at the pre-production phase. Everything is kind of ready to go into production. We're very confident that it's going to deliver, but by launching just that little bit earlier, it helps us from a cash flow perspective. Keep in mind, we don't have any outside investors at the moment, and we like to grow kind of at our own pace and make products that we feel like that we enjoy and other people would enjoy. So that's the first thing. And then from a community perspective, Kickstarter is really important for us. So we've launched 11 or 12 Kickstarter campaigns now, and there's a lot of existing backers that always come back for our projects, and we're grateful for them. I mentioned like those 4,961 backers that first campaign. A lot of them still come back to every single one of our campaigns, and we like to give them first dibs and first look at our upcoming products. And through Kickstarter, what's really good is because we haven't gone into production yet. Sometimes the feedback, often we get feedback when we launch on Kickstarter. So whether we might do a poll on color preferences, for example, and that allows us to kind of pivot a little bit if we feel like more people are leaning towards a certain color, or if there's a new color. That's the other aspect. And from a marketing as well, like one Kickstarter has their own traffic where people just browse Kickstarter and just love backing cool new stuff. But also it just creates a little bit of a kind of a snowball campaign where lots of people can kind of see that, hey, the campaign's going well. It creates excitement internally and also externally. And from a press and affiliate point of view, they can see that what they're recommending is not just like we're not just like a random sort of person that's contacting them. Like there's obviously other people that's really interested in this, and it's there's backing, and there's previous backing as well, so they're more likely going to cover your project.
Yeah, I think that point, getting back to this theme of data driven, right? A lot of times the hesitancy for an affiliate or for an influencer to partner with a brand is there's an unknown of, well, is this going to resonate with my audience? Do you have strong conversion rates? Like, what is going to happen here? And that Kickstarter provides almost like a glimpse into the financials of like, yeah, you could see a bunch of people want to do this. And so there's that confidence of like, oh, I could do a write-up on another product because I'm confident that I'm going to drive that click-through rate that I need to drive the affiliate revenue that I'm trying to get from my channel or from my article or whatever it might be. So there's, that kind of exposure. A lot of brands don't, they wouldn't normally do that, but like it provides that by default, and it can be I'd say it'd be a tremendous benefit. And on the flip side, I think if you find that there's a challenge with a product, there's going to be less of an appetite for people to want to push it as well. But that's the feedback loop. I think ultimately it just kind of is what it is.
Absolutely.
Last sort of affiliate related question. For a lot of merchants and brands getting into influencers, getting into affiliates, sort of like seeding out these relationships, it starts with gifting. And you had alluded to this before, like trying to give product to everybody and everywhere. How has that gifting strategy evolved over time with Orbitkey, and how does it play into the general affiliate strategy, the general influencer strategy, the press strategy? Like, how does that mix in? Because I think for a lot of merchants, there's this advantage of, I've got this product, if I could just get it in their hands, it should be enough to motivate them. Now, it's not always enough to motivate them, but it can be for some, especially if the product is really effective, hands-on, that wow moment happens. But how has that changed for you all? Again, being this global brand, especially in this accessory space, how are you guys thinking about that in terms of reaching affiliates, reaching new partnerships, whatever it may be?
Yeah, I think it starts by, maybe taking a look at your product and identifying personas that you want to target. And from there, once you've got the persona you want to target, then identifying the influencers, the press and YouTubers that will influence that persona. Early days, we were kind of just sending it to anyone and everyone, and we would get some uptake. But we find that now that we identify who the product is for and who would likely use it, you get a lot higher uptake because they genuinely would most likely like the product more, want to feature it, and more use it regularly and over again. Going back to kind of those YouTube videos I mentioned, some of those creators will continuously feature a product because it's just part of their daily use and carry, and
Yeah.
that's really great. Um, yeah, like for in terms of like gifting to kind of micro creators, like we've kind of recently started doing this again. This is creators that we're seeing maybe with less than 1,000 followers that just make really great content. We like working with partners like this because they um, are more likely going to put in a lot of effort to create great content for your products, and that content we can then repurpose on our own organic social media. And more often than not, when you reach out to them, they're happy for you to use these content for paid media as well. So um, I think just having that another channel to kind of creative channel to kind of tap into for content is really nice.
Yeah, that there's that, like, getting more of a return on that investment, right? Like, you could go out and create some of these content and these visuals yourselves, but getting the diversity that you would have from a lot of creators, uh, there's like a huge value to that, like incorporating it in those paid ads. Plus, a lot of times those smaller creators, they engagement can be really high, and you can get like a sneaky good value from them. Now, the challenge is scale. Like, you have to work with more than one. They don't drive a 100% click through rate on their 1,000 followers. If they did, that'd be great. But a lot of times, like, you just see that their audience just more genuinely engages with all that content. So I've got one more question, Rex, and then maybe if anybody has any, we'll do sort of a light Q&A, but otherwise we'll end a little bit early today or tomorrow, because it's tomorrow for Rex. You guys have so many cool things, and you could go standard, but like when you look at the product catalog or like the collaborations that you have, like I mentioned, Marie Kondo, like what's your favorite thing where like, I'm just gonna grab another one of these from the warehouse because it's just my favorite thing. Like, it's just, we did a good job. Like, people, maybe they're even sleeping on this product a little bit. And let me preface this too with, if you are holiday shopping, it's probably too late to get it in before. I don't think Rex is going to promise any delivery dates unless you're doing a holiday get together after the new year. So you can't get this in for the holidays as a gift. But what's the product that you're like, this is just kind of my favorite thing right now, that you guys have?
I feel like it changes, like depending on any given day you ask me. But I, currently we've released a couple of products that's been really popular amongst our customers, and one is a foldable duffel, and the other one is a travel sling. And yeah, the foldable duffel is kind of like a 55-liter, quite a big duffel that packs down into like like a little square. And recently did some travel in New Zealand, and it's just really nice to have like that extra big duffel but packs down so small wherever you go. Like, you can put that in your backpack or your luggage, and yeah, you end up doing too much shopping, or the kids buy like soft toys and stuff. You have like all of a sudden like an extra luggage or an extra duffel. So that's been really helpful. And another one that I used a lot when I was traveling recently was the travel sling. So our travel sling has heaps of compartments for everything. Like, there's probably like 10 plus compartments in there, so everything's really organized. You can just reach in and exactly where you've packed everything, as opposed to just one bag and everything's kind of, you're going to have to fundle your way through to try and find the thing you are looking for.
Very cool. Any favorite collaborations or any new collaborations that you can share? You probably couldn't actually share them, but any collaborations from the past that you're just like, this was such a cool one to do?
Yeah, we've been recently working with Marie Kondo. I mean, not recently, the last couple of years, and we wanted to, as a brand with innovative products, we wanted to position ourselves as a brand to help people organize through our products. And We also probably early on we found that our audience was mostly male, but we felt like our products didn't have to just help men organize. We could help everyone, and so it was really nice to partner with Marie because she's the most famous organization guru in the world, and so it's really cool to kind of partner with her. And her audiences tend to be more female as well. So yeah, I really like that collaboration. We flew over to Japan to meet her and did the video shoot with her, and we've been talking to them about doing another round of cool products, and this time working even closer with Marie to design products from scratch as well.
It's cool. And again, the sort of data-driven mindset of like audience and understanding who's there and like the potential of the reach. Not that it's not a great partnership in general, but just keeping that lens on all of the things that sort of matter to you all as a business. This has been great, Rex. I really appreciate it again. Thank you for joining me. It's pretty early your time. It's 8:30 now. Kids are probably off to school, but I really enjoyed the conversation today.
Thank you, Ryan. Me too. Me too.
Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for joining our stream today. Again, this will be hosted on YouTube and on LinkedIn. We'll send along a link to the recording as well, and stay tuned for more of these in the new year. Rex, best of luck for you guys as you wrap up Q4. We're probably past the last ship date because otherwise I can't imagine that you would have found time for me today. But I really do greatly appreciate it. Wish you guys best of luck in the new year as well.
Thanks.
Thank you.